back. Today I'm going to be talking about how to be the main character in your own life without being narcissistic, because I've touched on this before, main character syndrome. We talked about rude tourists. We talked about people filming strangers on the street and then zooming in on their face because they think that everyone is watching them. Everyone is obsessed with them because their outfit is so good, because they're so beautiful, they're so handsome, when in reality, no one cares. No one cares, and the only reason people are probably looking in your direction is because you have a cameraman behind you. That is not how to be the main character in your own life. That is you forcing yourself into someone else's life because you think you're more important, because you view everyone else as background actors, because you don't see them as real people with their own stories, and that everyone is a main character in their own life. So to actually have that main character energy, the positive kind, you should respect that, again, they're on their own journey. You focus on actual confidence, the healthy kind of confidence. So we're going to be talking about the difference, because what's happening on the internet, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, sometimes people will give advice on how to be confident, and it's really just advice on how to be selfish. Always put yourself first. That is a sure way to end up alone. You're going to be isolated because those kinds of people, if they're truly narcissistic, they are unbearable to be around. You're not going to attract people who actually care about you, right? You're going to attract other very shallow individuals. You don't want that, okay? You don't want to be like the people who start singing and dancing on public transport because they think everyone wants to hear them. Everyone wants to see them dance. Everyone wants to watch their performance, when actually people, they just want a bit of peace and quiet on their way to work. That is not confidence. That is main character syndrome, delusion. That's unhealthy. We don't want that. Actually, no one wants to be around those people. Maybe in the beginning, if you are trying to get attention, right, you're doing everything you possibly can to get people to look at you. You might get high off of that. You might get some attention. But in the long run, that's going to leave you feeling exhausted. And everyone else is going to notice that and try and get as far away from you as possible. Because like I said, if you actually know a narcissist or have known a narcissist, you know that it is absolutely exhausting to be around these people. They don't let you talk, for example. If it's your turn to talk when you're having a conversation, they can't do it. They cannot do it. They have to talk about themselves constantly. So when you start talking, they're going to interrupt you and they're going to start talking about themselves again. Or they are going to be off in their own little world. And then when you're done speaking, they're going to turn the conversation back to themselves. And I told you guys about that one woman I met at that event. That was her, okay? She wouldn't let anyone else speak. She only cared about people's following on social media. And then if they had less of a following, then she wouldn't talk to them. She was very rude to the people there, like the workers. I thought those kinds of individuals only existed on TV shows. No! And it's giving leech. It's giving leech, because she was going up to the people that had, a lot of subscribers. They were very well known, not just on YouTube, worldwide. These were very influential people. And she would only talk to them. And she, again, very rude to everyone else. So it was giving leech. And it was really, really gross. She was the kind of person where I bet if we were talking and someone said, I just got a puppy. Here's a photo of the puppy. She would have been like, that's so great. But wait, I once pet a dog. Let me spend the next 45 minutes telling you about my experience petting a dog. Let's start from the day I was born, and we'll go from there. No one asked you. No one asked you. No one cares. You interrupt people because you can't handle it. Someone else is getting the attention. They just love the sound of their own voice so much. They can't wait. That's not confidence. That's insecurity. Add some delusion, right? Maybe a lot of delusion. You really don't want to be like that. But I'll say, it's so important to keep in mind who you're giving advice to and what kind of person you are when you're receiving advice, because there could be someone listening who has a very low self-esteem. They don't have enough confidence. And so they might hear some advice telling them, you know what? Yeah, be selfish. Be selfish. And that might actually be what they need to hear at the moment. And that might bring them to a normal level of confidence. However, if someone is already conceited, if someone is so full of themselves, they're so narcissistic, they don't need that advice. They don't need the be selfish. Put yourself first. They need a reality check, okay? They need to take a step back and realize they're always putting themselves first. That's what they need. But they might hear that, oh, be selfish, put yourself first, girl, whatever. And they might become even worse. Journal. You have to take a look at yourself from a different perspective. Ask someone, maybe, someone you trust, and then think about what you can improve on, because no one is perfect. That's another thing you hear. Oh, to be the main character, like just romanticize everything and your life is a movie and you're like this princess and everything's perfect. No. Listen, nobody's perfect. You have flaws. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, but you have flaws, okay? And you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses, and it's your job to figure those out. And that's where actually becoming the main character in your life comes in. Romanticize your life in healthy ways. Not, oh, my life is a movie. Let me push this worker out of the way and take a photo of myself and, zoom in on everyone's face because everyone's looking at me. I want to share that. What is that behavior? What is this behavior? I genuinely don't understand how people who do this, they don't feel embarrassed. I don't get it. Again, I think it is social media telling people this is how you become successful. You put yourself first. You prioritize yourself, self-care, self-love all the time? No. There's a time and place for it, yes. I sure hope you're taking care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health, but you can't always prioritize yourself. What is that? I'm so tired of hearing that. Like if you told a mother, hey, put yourself first no matter what all the time. Yeah, your baby is crying. There's no one else around, let's say, to, go help this child. Put yourself first, girl. No, let the child cry for hours. Ignore it. No. And I'm sure that parents who may be listening to this, or maybe you have a sibling and you really had to be there for that sibling, you know what it feels like to make sacrifices. And that actually, that's a beautiful thing, because when you do it for people who genuinely love you and you love them, that's an amazing thing. That really is beautiful. And you can be a main character and still make sacrifices for the people in your life who you care about and who care about you. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So it really matters how you interpret some of this advice. The narcissist is the kind of woman, let's say, that wears a white dress to her friend's wedding because she cannot handle not being the center of attention. Even if it's just for a day. She can't handle it. It really matters who is listening. The internet likes to give one-size-fits-all advice. It doesn't exist. In the real world, no. You always have to keep that in mind. Does that apply to me? Do I need to put myself first more or less? Because if you're already narcissistic, you have to work on being selfless at times. So main character energy is not about thinking everyone is obsessed with you. Everyone must love you. And you can put other people down, push other people out of the way because you're the main character. No, that's not what that's about. You don't want that vibe. No one's going to want to be around you, really, if that's how you're behaving. What is it really? Prioritizing yourself when it makes sense. Build a life you actually love. Become a person you're actually proud of, even when no one's watching, even when you're not getting applause, and know your worth. Be confident without asking for other people to validate you. Do you like me? Does he like me? Does she like? Who cares? Do you like yourself? Because it's not going to matter if everyone else likes you, but you hate yourself. Quiet confidence will always beat loud insecurity. People will see through it eventually. It doesn't matter if right now you are putting on this persona, you're rude, you're narcissistic, and you're getting some attention. That's not the attention you want. And I've seen it happen to people. They get into these relationships where they attract someone that they deserve. Let's just put it that way. Do you think that ends well? No. Because let me tell you something. Narcissist plus narcissist won't work. Actually, narcissist plus confident person, like an actual confident person that knows their self-worth, that also will not work. They can't stand each other. Because guess what? If you're actually confident, you're not going to put up with disrespect. You're not going to put up with the narcissist BS. You're not. So they don't like that. They like people that they can push down and they can, make them worship them and whatever. But they won't attract genuinely good, confident people into their life, at least not for a long time. Eventually, they're going to come to their senses and they're going to say, wow, you are full of yourself. And they leave. And what happens to the narcissist? They're alone. Let me tell you something else. The people that are confident, that are a little bit more quiet, they like to listen more than they like to talk. When they share their opinions, everyone leans in. Everyone actually wants to hear what this person is saying. They don't have to be loud. They don't have to interrupt to get the attention. And that kind of thing doesn't always happen overnight. That could take years before more and more people start to respect you, because it might take time for you to respect yourself. That's how it goes. These people, they don't have to be flashy. They don't have to be conceited. They don't have to show off their materialistic, lifestyle, whatever. No one is going to be impressed by that if you're just genuinely a terrible human being. The ones that don't have to shout to be heard, that's powerful. That's a certain kind of presence. That doesn't mean you can't have a lot of energy. That doesn't mean you can't be silly and talk a lot and be chatty. No, you can. But you have to let other people talk in the most simple way possible. That's how you do it. You let other people have their moment. You're curious about other people. You're not threatened by them. You don't have to show up and be rude and put everyone else down in the room because you feel threatened. That's insecurity. However, if you have no confidence, if you put yourself down constantly, if you don't work on yourself, that's not only doing a disservice to you, it's also doing a disservice to people who rely on you, the people who care about you. Maybe there's someone who depends on you. You have to take care of yourself. It's about showing up for you. It's about showing up for your future, your people, being strong, being reliable, not being someone who needs a standing ovation for breathing, for waking up. Oh, congratulations. Oh, you're so special. Don't be arrogant. Don't be entitled. Be confident. Live your life like it matters. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. It doesn't just mean trying to look nice. You can treat yourself sometimes, right? You can buy yourself something if you feel like that is going to make you feel better. But you have to take care of your mental health. You have to take care of your physical health. Work out. Do what you can do. I know someone's like, well, I don't have any arms. I don't have any legs. I don't have any eyes. Okay, everyone's situation is different. Do what you can do while keeping your own specific situation in mind. You can spend an eternity making up excuses for yourself, but the only person you're hurting is yourself. No one is going to show up and save you. To actually be that main character in your life, you set goals. You set boundaries. You improve yourself. You stay grounded. That is healthy. But acting like you're better than everyone else, constantly demanding attention, seeing everyone else's little background props, no. Quiet confidence is better than loud delusion. Any day. And that's all. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you do to be the real main character in your life without being narcissistic? Setting up a boundary, going to work out, romanticizing your life, right? In these healthy ways. I'm curious what that looks like for you, so make sure to comment. Also remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.